Hey everyone, and welcome back. So, you're ready to go from zero to developer, right? In a previous explainer, we really dug into the differences between front-end and back-end. If you missed that one, I'd seriously recommend checking it out first, because it'll give you a lot of context. But today, we're taking that next step. This is your ultimate roadmap, a super clear, step-by-step guide to help you pick a path and get your coding journey started.
Okay, let's get right into the big question. Front-end or back-end? Look, this isn't just a choice, it's the start of a really amazing adventure. Are you the kind of person who gets excited about building what a user actually sees and touches? Or are you more fascinated by the hidden machinery, the logic, the data, the architecture that makes it all work? Let's look at some data to help you figure it out.
So this Stack Overflow survey shows us something pretty interesting about the job market. It looks like about 43% of developers call themselves back-end, while only around 26% are front-end. Now, what does that mean for you? Well, it could suggest there's a higher demand for back-end roles, which might just mean a little less competition when you're first starting out.
And, of course, the money question. What about pay? The data shows back-end devs in the US pulling in a median salary around 150 grand, with front-end devs closer to 133. That difference usually comes down to the kind of complex problems back-end developers solve. Stuff like data security and massive system architecture. But, and this is a big but, passion always beats pay. Choose the path that actually gets you excited, because that's what's going to fuel you for the long haul.
So you're all about the visual side of things, huh? Awesome. Welcome to the front-end path. This is where you literally become the architect of the user experience. You'll be crafting the interfaces that people see, click, and fall in love with. Your job is to build stuff that isn't just pretty, but is also super intuitive and works flawlessly. Let's walk through the front-end roadmap. It all starts with the absolute bedrock of the web, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Once you've got those down, you'll level up with a framework like React or Vue to build more complex, dynamic apps. But it's not all code. You'll also need to get a feel for design principles to make things people actually enjoy using. And finally, you'll get your toolkit sorted with version control and build a killer portfolio to show everyone what you can do. It's a really logical climb from the ground up.
Okay, these three are the holy trinity. They're totally non-negotiable. Think of it like building a house. HTML is the frame, the structure. CSS is all the paint, the furniture, the style that makes it look good. In JavaScript, that's the electricity and the plumbing that actually brings the house to life. You have to master these three. It's essential.
This is a golden piece of advice from a developer online. So many beginners just blow past CSS, thinking it's just for colors and fonts, but it is an incredibly powerful and deep language. Getting really good at it is the secret to creating those modern, responsive websites that look amazing no matter what device you're on.
All right, once you've got those fundamentals solid, it's time to pick a framework. Frameworks are basically toolkits that save you from reinventing the wheel every time you build a big application. React is the king right now in terms of popularity, Angular is Google's all-in-one powerhouse, and Vue is often loved for being super friendly to beginners. If you're not sure, honestly, you can't go wrong starting with React. The community is massive and the job market for it is huge. Okay, let's switch gears. Time to go behind the curtain and into the engine room. The back-end path is all about building the server-side logic that actually powers everything. This is where you're working with data, servers, and APIs to make sure everything the user doesn't see is running smoothly, securely, and super efficiently. The backend roadmap looks a little different. It all kicks off with choosing a programming language. That's going to be your main tool. Then you'll dive deep into the world of databases to learn how to store and manage all that information. After that, you'll pick up a server-side framework to make your life easier. A super crucial step is learning to design APIs, which are the bridges between the front end and the back end. And finally, you'll tackle the really important stuff, security and deploying your app for the world to see. So, your first big choice is picking a language. Python is famous for being easy to read, which makes it an awesome first pick. Java is an absolute workhorse. You'll see it everywhere in big companies building massive, scalable systems. And Node.js is really unique because it lets you use JavaScript, which you might already know from front end, on the server side too. For a beginner, I'd say Python or Node.js are fantastic places to start. This piece of advice is so important. I really can't stress this enough. It's so tempting to try and learn 5 things at once, but that's just a fast track to getting burnt out. Pick one language and really live in it for a while. Spend a couple of months just going deep. Trust me,
That will serve you so much better than knowing just a little bit about a bunch of different languages. Next up, databases. You can basically split them into two main camps. SQL databases like MySQL are like super organized spreadsheets. Everything is in neat tables with rows and columns. They're perfect for structured stuff like customer orders. NoSQL databases like MongoDB are more like a collection of documents. They're way more flexible, which is great for things like social media posts where the data can be all over the place.
Beyond the language and database, you've got to get your head around these big ideas. A server framework like Express or Django gives you a bunch of pre-built tools to help you build your app faster. APIs are like the waiters that take requests from the front end to the back end and bring back the right data. And finally, you'll learn the absolute essentials of security to protect your users and how to get your app onto the cloud so people can actually use it.
So, we've looked at two very different paths, but what happens when you want to master both of them? Well, that's when you reach the summit. That's when you get into full-stack development, bringing both sides of the coin together.
A full-stack developer is basically like a jack of all trades, a master of both worlds. They have the skills to build and manage an entire application, from the buttons and layouts the user sees on the front end, all the way to the complex database and server logic on the back end. They really are the ultimate problem solvers of the web. This table shows you exactly how it all snaps together. We call these stacks. They're just sets of technologies that are known to work really well with each other. The MERN stack, for instance, is MongoDB, Express.js, React, and Node.js. You can see the backend and database often stay the same in these popular stacks. The big difference is just which front-end framework you decide to plug in. Learning all this theory is one thing, but now for the most exciting part, turning all that knowledge into actual, real-world experience. So how do you make that jump from being a learner to being a builder?
Here it is, your action plan. The most important thing you can possibly do is to just build things. Start with small projects, solidify what you know, and build up your confidence. Put your best work into a portfolio that shows people who you are as a developer. Contributing to open source projects is an incredible way to learn from pros and work on real code. And of course, look for internships to get your foot in the door. And please, I'm begging you, use version control like Git for everything you build. You will thank me later.
Feeling a little overwhelmed about where to start? Here's the perfect advice. Don't try to build the next Amazon on day one. Start small. Building a simple, responsive login page is a fantastic first project. It forces you to use HTML for the structure, CSS to make it look good on any screen, and JavaScript to check the user's input. It sounds simple, but you will learn a ton and build a really solid foundation.
So there you have it, the complete roadmap for learning front-end and back-end development. The map is officially in your hands now. The only question left is, what are you going to build first? Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you found this guide helpful, make sure to subscribe for more tutorials, roadmaps, and tips to help you on your coding journey.